Hi friends, Jeanette here. Today's video is going to be about relieving pelvic floor tension. I'll show you a routine I've been using with my clients to relieve their pelvic floor tension, because pelvic floor tension is a cause of back pain. It's also a cause of neck pain and of course urinary symptoms. And it's also associated with dysfunctional breathing patterns and anxiety. So today's routine is going to be mostly restorative poses, and we're going to marry in some breathing that's going to help get your body flowing with energy and make you feel good about being in that beautiful body of yours. I'll be using my phone to time the poses because I don't want this video to be super long. However, I do want you to know that you can hold these poses as long as you want at home, up to 5 minutes each. This video, this routine, is going to be something you can use when you wake up in the morning if you feel tense and tight. It can also be something you can use in the middle of the day if you're feeling like you need a break or your symptoms are coming on. And of course, use it at night as well before bed to help you fall asleep. So literally do it anytime you want. Before we get started, I'm going to ask you to like my video, please. It really makes a big difference. Share it with your friends and leave a comment below if you found this useful, okay? Or even if you have questions. Also, take a second, one little tiny second, to click the subscribe button, and you'll get updates every time I post a video. I post all kinds of good stuff, including full-length classes on how to use yoga therapy to relieve your back pain. So let's get started. So before you start your yoga routine, we're going to make sure we have things set up right. Your mat, if you're using one, you don't have to have one, but if you have one, it's up against the wall. This is where we're going to be starting, okay? And these are the props that we're using. A bolster, which you can easily substitute a rolled up blanket for this. You can even use pillows, whatever you have on hand. I'm a really big fan of just using what you have. No need to go out and buy a lot of stuff, okay? A blanket might come in handy, and I'll show you why. And then, again, blocks, but you can substitute pillows or rolled blankets for the blocks too, right? So I have my phone over here, and the very first pose that we're going to do is legs up the wall, Viparita Karani. So we are going to bring, make sure your bolster is really close to where you're going to need it. We're going to make sure your blanket is close too. I'll show you why, okay? So in order to get the legs up the wall, my favorite way to do this is to sit with your hip against the wall and then flip around, okay? So once you get here, just take a second to notice what it feels like, all right? If you have some pressure in your head, you can use a blanket as a pillow. Propping your head up can really help with that pressure. Another thing I want to bring your attention to is your butt. It does not have to be all the way up against the wall. In fact, I've seen a lot of people actually losing the benefit of this pose because they're straining to get their butt all the way up against the wall and their legs are tight, or it's just really awkward to position yourself that way. So don't worry about that, okay? You're just fine where you are. Now we're bringing the bolster in. So you have two options here. You can use a blanket just like this for under your hips if you want less lift, or you can use a big bolster like this. Okay, it's really a matter of personal preference. Stick with what feels the best, right? So I'm going to bring my feet down on the wall like this, lift my hips, and bring that bolster underneath. Stretch the legs back up the wall, and we're going to start the timer, right? So while you're here in this position, we're going to really focus on the movement of the diaphragm with the breath. Now, let your arms rest on the floor, palms facing up wherever they feel comfortable. Notice that gravity is reversed on your body in this position. As you exhale, it's very easy for your pelvic floor to move up into the pelvic cavity. As you inhale, it sort of flows back downward again towards your legs. Keep that awareness as you breathe, and let your breath be soft and easy. Don't try to breathe super deep here. Relax your lower body as much as you possibly can. And just let that pelvic floor flow. Next, bring your feet to the wall. Remove the prop from underneath your body. Place your hips on the floor once again and stretch your legs up the wall. Stay here for 1 or 2 breaths before moving away from the wall. Good. So, as you move away from the wall, I want you to make sure that you have enough space for your legs to stretch out completely and not touch the wall. That's really important. Okay? So the next pose we're going to do is the knee to chest pose. And I'll have you bring your right knee in towards your chest and hold it with your hands. Let your left leg rest on the floor. Release all effort from your body, from the waist down. Let your arms hold the knee up so that if you were to let go of that leg, it would flop down. This is like a twist for your pelvis. Can you feel that? And can you feel your pelvic floor releasing upward, especially on the exhale? You might even feel both of those diaphragms in your abdomen, the pelvic floor and the respiratory diaphragm at the bottom of your rib cage, moving together. As you inhale, they both move down. As you exhale, they both move up. Completely relax the muscles of your hip. And now we're going to switch sides. So let your right foot come down onto the floor. And bring your left foot onto the floor. Stretch your right leg out on the floor. And bring your left knee up towards your chest in the same manner that we did on the other side. Holding your knee there with both hands, relax every single bit of effort out of the bottom half of your body. The front of your hip is soft. Your right foot is flopping out to the side, and you feel that gentle twisting action in your pelvis. You can even feel the pelvic floor lifting up. And don't be discouraged if you find that it's really hard to stay relaxed here. Very common experience is that you'll relax all of your muscles and then they'll come right back on again. So the practice becomes just allowing your muscles to relax again and again and again, and you're teaching them through repetition. So inhale easily and exhale. Let that pelvic floor rise as it relaxes. Good. Put your foot on the floor and bring your right foot back up onto the floor too. So now we're going to do the happy baby pose. So I have a lot of friends who actually can only do one leg at a time because their hips are so tight. This is what it looks like with one leg. And if you wanted to put this leg out, that would make your stretch more intense. And you would spend equal amount of time on both legs, all right? But for today's video, I'll be doing 1 minute in full happy baby. And we're going to bring the hands between the legs and then wrap them around the outer edge of the foot. Open your feet up and you'll feel your pelvis tilting back. You'll even feel some very slight gentle pressure nudging your ischial-tuberosities, your sitting bones, away from each other. Feel that space that exists between your pubic bone and your sitting bones. It's like a hole, right, where you have all the organs that are in your pelvis connected to the outside world through that hole. Feel that hole widening. Feel it deepening. Relax your belly. Okay, and put your left foot down on the floor and put your right foot down on the floor. Good. So the next pose we're going to do is a supported butterfly leg pose with the bolster under the back. It's kind of a combination of two poses. It's a really popular restorative pose for good reason. It's a good one. So we're using the bolster under the back. Again, use pillows or rolled up blankets, whatever you have. You want it to be relatively firm, okay? And the blocks here are going under each leg. So you want your hips on the floor and you want this bolster supporting you on your low back in a place that feels comfortable. Now, some people like it all the way down. Some people prefer to have it more up under the rib cage. I think it's important to have somewhere to rest your head. So another thing, if you do feel pressure in your head or your neck doesn't like this position, try adding a little lift, okay, with a blanket under your head. So put your feet together, put your blocks kind of on the sticky mat. That's going to help them not slide around here. And bring them up close enough to your body that your butterfly legs are not really wide. I don't think it's helpful in a lot of situations to spread the legs really wide and just let them hang out in space like that. This is a subtle technique, and the angle of your hip is going to help you to release those pelvic floor muscles. So as you can see, I am really mobile, but I'm choosing a smaller angle here for good reason. So once you find yourself set up in your pose, we'll start the timer. Again, let your hands relax onto the floor on either side of you, palms facing up. And some people like to put their hands on their belly, whatever feels best for you. Relax the bottom half of your body. Let your belly grow and shrink with every breath. Relax your pelvic floor. Just relax everything in your pelvis. And as you inhale, pelvic floor moves down slightly towards your tailbone. And then as you exhale, it moves up slightly towards your belly button. Good. Okay, so we're going to come out of this pose carefully. First, remove the props from underneath your legs. And then roll over to your side off of your bolster. Okay. Onto your back just for a second. Bring your knees in towards your chest. And we're going to do one more timed pose here. This is called Apanasana. And I want you to just relax everything from your waist down. Use your arms to hold the legs in place. Relax your belly. Feel your lower belly sink down towards the floor as you exhale. Bring your attention again to the pelvic floor. Let it relax. Good. Okay, right foot goes down on the floor. Left foot goes down on the floor. Wonderful. Okay, roll over onto your side. Stay here for a second before you get up, right? We want to respect the body's need to adjust gradually to the increase in movement and to the change in position. Right? It's a big deal to go from lying on the floor to standing up. So we're going to come up onto hands and knees. Okay, and then we can come to standing. And now that we're standing, there's one last thing we can do. This is going to help widen the back of your pelvis just a little. So place your hands on a wall about eye height and turn, step away from the wall just a little. We're not going into a full wall dog here. This is going to be a really small movement. Turn your toes inward. So we don't want this to feel like work. We want this actually to be like almost a non-pose, really. So we've got the toes turned inward. We're slightly bent forward from the hip. Hands are on the wall for support. Now I want you to close your eyes and breathe down into your pelvis. And as you exhale, allow your pelvis to grow wide and relax. Now, you might actually do some movement here if you feel that you need to adjust the position of your pelvis to get that widening feeling back there, right? For me, I think it meant letting my tailbone move up just a little bit, tilting my pelvis forward a little. Okay? One more time. Breathe in and then exhale. Release all the tension from behind your pelvis. A little wiggle can help too. Good. And bend your knees. Yeah, that's really helpful too, bending the knees. Okay. Yes. Bending the knees really increase the sensation of lift in the pelvis and wideness across the sacrum. Okay, so now we're going to come to standing in mountain pose. Toes facing forward, feet any width apart that feels comfortable, okay? There's no rule for this one. We just want you to have that yummy, juicy, warm feeling in your pelvis. That's the only thing that matters. So, knees are slightly bent, shoulders are rolled back. And before you move on with your day or go to bed or whatever it is you're doing, we're going to just have a few of those pelvic floor breaths in the standing position. So inhale, feel your lower rib cage expand out in all directions and feel your pelvic floor dropping down. And I'm going to show you with my hands the two diaphragms moving together. So as you inhale, it's this. As you exhale, it's like that. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Lift the pelvis on the exhale. Good. Hands together in front of your heart. May the rest of your day be filled with peace, ease, and may all beings everywhere be happy. Namaste.